Okay, so today we are on chapter 21, the last of the list, and this is the liberation of Gabriel King. And if you remember yesterday, they talked about Frida's dad is going to talk in the town for a campaign for Jimmy Carter, and they're going to have Gabe's dad also talk to kind of say to the Ku Klux Klan and the people that don't like African Americans, this isn't right, and you can't scare our children. I'm on page 131. If science importance were true, then my dream really was one, because Mr. Evans' words were like the sticky strands of a spider web. Even though they seemed tiny, we knew they could spread everywhere until we were caught and couldn't get out. Look how they spread so far. First, he called Frida a bad word. I'm not going to say it, the N-word. And only my pop had stood up to him. So he kept right on going. And now the whole town of Hallowell was getting involved because Mr. Wilson was going door to door asking everyone to come to the rally. Me and Frida walked into town one afternoon about 2 weeks after the bicentennial, and even though we were trying hard to stay out of things, that wasn't easy to do. We were getting ice cream cones at the general store, and everyone we met had something to say. Did Carl Evans really say that to you? How come you kids are stirring up trouble? Who could believe it? In 1976, Frida was real polite, but I could tell she was tired of listening to them. Let's walk down the old dirt road, she said once we'd eaten our ice cream. I waited for the familiar twist in my stomach, but this time it didn't come. Okay, I said. Me and Frida turned off Main Street and started walking. We walked real slow, and I didn't even listen for 18-wheelers or check to see if cows were loose. Want to go on the rope swing, I asked after a while, but Frida didn't have her suit. Want to build the tree fort, she suggested. Nah, it's too hot. Want to finish our list, Frida asked. We hadn't talked about our list since the fireworks. I shrugged. Truth was, I'd been thinking on things. I came to a decision a week ago, and the only reason I hadn't said anything was because I was gathering my courage. I opened my mouth, but it was all dried up. Frida, I said at last, I don't think it's working. Frida stopped walking. What's not working? The list, I said. I thought about what she said that day I squished the centipede. You're right. I'm not getting any braver. Guess I'm like one of the chicken ones. That's not true, Frida said. I was just mad when I said that. You've gotten a lot braver. You've jumped off the rope swing a bunch of times, and you kept Jimmy all summer. Yeah, I said, but those aren't the ones that counted. I'm still plenty scared of 5th grade. I thought it over, and I'm staying behind no matter what. Frida's face fell. But you said you wouldn't be scared of mean teachers anymore, and we planned out what to do if you got locked in the toilet again. I drew pictures in the sand with my foot. But I'm twice as scared of Duke, I said at last. I've had 2 bad dreams where he's burning stuff on the playground and yelling for you to come out. What if he does something real bad? He won't, said Frida. Duke is a scaredy cat. Besides, we're having the rally, remember? You won't be scared of him after that. We're going to stand up to those Evans. Me, you, and our mamas and daddies. And Terrence. Frida was on a roll, but she might as well have been talking to herself, because it wasn't going to make any difference. All I could hear was Duke's voice in my head. No one's going to clap for Frida Wilson if I can help it. All this time I thought he'd hated Frida because she could pummel him, but now I knew different. Now I knew what the real hate was, and that it was the scariest thing of all, even if I hadn't put it on my list. I shook my head. I made up my mind, I said, and you got to stay back with me because you pinky swore it. Frida's face fell. I suspect she'd forgotten all about that. Gabe, she said, her lip quivering, I can't. Mom and Daddy would never let me, and I don't even want to. You got to move up with me. You got to. Nope, I said, I won't. No one can make me. Then I corrected myself. No one can make us, I mean. But Frida shook her head. She looked sadder than I'd ever seen her. I won't stay back, she said at last. She looked at me real hard. Guess you'll have to learn how to be brave without me. I could hardly believe it. Now we'd both broken a pinky swear. We stood face to face in the old dirt road. Then Frida turned in the opposite direction. Guess I better go, she said. Mama will probably be calling me in for dinner soon. It was hours yet before dinner, but I shrugged. I couldn't decide whether I was mad or sad or just plain terrified. Okay, I said at last. Frida got up to run, but she looked back over her shoulder. Call me when you find your courage, she said. Then we'll move up together, okay? I didn't say a word. I knew she wanted me to say all right, like I'd change my mind and everything would go back to normal, but I didn't want to change my mind. I wanted Frida to change hers. So they're both being stubborn. Frida waited a long time, but I didn't say anything, so she took off. See you, Gabriel King, she said. I watched her run until she was a tiny speck in the distance, and soon as she was gone, I missed her something terrible. See, I hollered at last, loud as I could. My eyes were brimming over, and I waved super hard and whistled my extra loud whistle, but it was too weak. I knew she couldn't hear me. Okay, that's the end. We only have chapter 22 and chapter 23 left. So 2 more chapters. Bye.